And now, the best 60-ish seconds of your week. And as we close out the Thanksgiving holiday weekend, hopefully all of you had a blessed, wonderful, and happy Thanksgiving and got through Good Friday. You know, that day when Americans climb all over each other, clamoring to grab a hold of that one thing that they absolutely have to have, the day after giving thanks for the things which we actually do have. Only in America. And Anthony Fauci is on his way out. And can you say good riddance? I mean, here was a man whose calls during the pandemic were wrong at just about every turn. He now, tries to deny having said many of the things that he did. This little problem with videotape comes into play every once in a while as he's confronted with his own words, and then he tries to steer away from it because, after all, he is science. Despite the fact that he's leaving, they managed to bungle his last appearance, that one in front of the White House press corps, invited in by the Biden administration to say a few parting words, and the press secretary, Jean-Pierre, decided that maybe questions shouldn't come his way that might be a little tough to answer. This is an administration that really does not want to be transparent in any way, shape, manner, or form, but Dr. Fauci might want to get some space reserved on Capitol Hill because the new Congress is going to be calling on him for real answers. And what he did with the Wuhan labs and all the other pronouncements, edicts, mandates, etc., that he put down during the COVID pandemic are going to be brought into full view for the American people. Stay tuned. And here in my home state of Pennsylvania, just as the results of the 2022 election are finally starting to settle out, the real fun begins because the Pennsylvania House of Representatives appears to be in the control of the Democrats at some point. Let me explain. The Democrats, at least theoretically, have a 102 to 101 advantage in the State House of Representatives based upon the elections held on November 8th. But as only Pennsylvania can have happen, there are 3 seats that are going to be, at some point anyway, open. One automatically because a man who deceased prior to November 8th obviously isn't going to be able to be there to vote. So there's one vote that cannot be cast when the legislature goes to reorganize itself. There are 2 others. One where a member got elected to the Congress of the United States, the other where a member got elected as lieutenant governor, where resignations are going to come into play at some point. And the question becomes, at what point? So stay tuned. Only in Pennsylvania can this kind of stuff go on a regular basis. Maybe not that regular, but I remember back in 1978, the State House of Representatives on election night was tied 101 to 101. And the one seat that was going to determine who controlled that body was a tied election with 8,551 votes cast for each of the candidates. It looked like an impossibility. Ultimately, it worked out because of some contested races in other seats, and the Republicans ultimately got control of the House of Representatives. But here's one thing I'm pretty sure of. The legal, political, even constitutional wrangling over the Pennsylvania House of Representatives is only beginning. So there's another one to stay tuned. And I couldn't let an entire week go by without at least mentioning sports. And with rivalry weekends upon us, college football comes into full view, and the NFL continues to be there as well. And my beloved Philadelphia Eagles continue to lead the league with a only 1-loss record. Another one we'll have to stay tuned to. And the World Cup now gets down to serious business because this week we'll move out of group play and into the knockout rounds where things really get serious. So one more, stay tuned. And for now, that is the best 60-ish seconds of your week.